has been 5 months since the government implemented the gold for oil policy as a solution to the rising fuel prices. The policy involves the purchase of gold from small-scale miners by the Precious Minerals and Mining Commission. The gold is then delivered to the Bank of Ghana, which purchases oil and provides it to BOST. BOST is mandated to sell these oil products to bulk oil distributors in Ghana cities. However, how successful has the transition been for these oil distributors in shifting from their regular suppliers to sourcing from BOST?
The big ones and the ones who have been trading and have these commercial agreements will not necessarily see the need to abandon that. Initially, there was one or two who quickly felt that there was an opportunity for them to turn over the cash that they've accrued.
Contrary to these claims, the bulk oil storage and transportation company states that almost half of the bulk oil distributors source their products from the gold for oil policy.
The facts and figures say differently. If you don't mind, we can go to the board.
That's fine.
And I'll show you what's happening here. So you can see that in January, when we started, we had only 5 BDCs we were selling to. February, we went to 6. March, it went to 19. April, 22. May, 22. As of 19th May, we still had 22. Okay. So the ecosystem, the licensed BDCs in the ecosystem is about 48. And we have 22 of them.
The Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, however, insists that a significant number of its members do not obtain their products from the policy and accuses BOST of directly selling to oil marketing companies.
With all that we know, that Nicodemously trading through some OMCs to supply to the market, but that in itself, yes, may not necessarily be an ethical way of conducting business. But in terms of competition on the market and the prices, is because maybe at the BDC level, the BDCs that are landing products are being much more competitive than them. That is why, as a result of desperation and frustration, they've decided to find a way of selling directly to the OMCs. And this is something that we expect the regulator to step up and investigate. And
BOST denies these allegations of selling directly to oil marketing companies.
Do you see any OMC name on the board?
The Chamber for Bulk Oil Distributors is asking for a probe into your activities.
We sell through BDCs, that's it.
Yeah, so the assertion that you are clandestinely selling to OMCs.
It's amazing that since Gold for Oil started, I mean, my friends come up with one excuse or another for Gold for Oil not to work and adduce all kind of rumors and innuendos as to why the Gold for Oil program is being successful.
Currently, the Gold for Oil policy accounts for 30% of the market share of bulk oil distributors. Nevertheless, the CBOD claims that the implementation has resulted in increased demurrage costs for its members due to preferential treatment given to BOST.
the issue about demurrages is hurting. That some of our members in the last 2 or so months are averaging demurrages over $1 million on their products. What this affects is careful planning, and which I think the regulator and the ministry really think that they want to clamp down on that coming into the next quarter.
BOST refutes these claims and suggests that the Chamber's reaction stems from the market share it's lost as a result of the Gold for Oil policy.
When you have an emergency and go to the hospital, do you expect preferential treatment? You do. Ghana has an emergency, and government has to use its agencies to solve that emergency. It's not a crime.
Should that lead to the breaking or giving debts to private companies?
I don't think, because the Gold for Oil just didn't happen overnight. It was announced, it took time. We brought in one cargo man, another cargo man 2, another cargo man 3. It's ramping. It's not even up to the 50% that we want. So, I mean, as to people carrying debt, it's a personal choice.
Since the inception of the policy, BOST has sold over 3 billion cedis worth of fuel. Consequently, fuel prices have seen a significant reduction at the pumps. However, the chamber argues that the gold for oil policy has not contributed to the price reduction in any way.
You and I know none of us sitting here have hand in controlling those variables. So when you see that people taking certain glory, and you wonder and say, well, I could take that from the political commentators, but not necessarily from somebody that you expect to be a technocrat.
BOST, on the other hand, disagrees with the Chamber's assessment and maintains that the gold for oil policy has played a role in reducing fuel prices.
Had it not been for gold for oil, would prices have come down? I doubt. Had it not been for gold for oil to try and take the demand for dollars out of the economy, for the to build our reserves, start building our reserves in gold and all those other things, would prices have would forex have stabilized? I don't know. Had it not been for gold for oil, would there have been the kind of competition we see today in the marketplace, which has driven prices from 23 cities to almost 11 cities as we speak? No, it wouldn't have happened. So yes, gold for oil, I think in a scale of 0 to 100, I think about 70 to 80% has accounted for this.